Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're looking at a story set deep within the isolated, mist-covered grounds of a Devon estate. It's a mystery, but not the kind with detectives or crime scenes. No, this is a mystery of time, of patience, and a forgotten legacy literally buried in the soil, the forgotten walled garden. We're going to see what happens when a wildly overgrown, abandoned space finally meets someone willing to uncover its secrets. So, get comfortable, because this is a journey you absolutely won't want to miss. Okay, let's dive into this. There is a particular kind of garden that does not ask for anything. It simply waits. Enter Harriet Crail. She's a 48-year-old garden designer who arrives at the Ashcroft estate on a really quiet October morning. While she's exploring the grounds, she discovers something she almost missed entirely. Tucked away is this ivy-covered oak gate, just kind of blending into the old stone wall. The iron hinges are deeply weathered and the rusted latch hasn't moved in decades. It fights her at first, but with a firm press, it gives way, opening into this completely forgotten world. Now, stepping through that gate represented a massive, life-altering shift for Harriet. Think about the contrast here. Behind her lay 20 exhausting years in London, translating ideas into clinical, technical plans, endless contractor briefings, and eventually total burnout. The profession she once loved had just become a series of mechanical tasks. But ahead lay a totally new reality. She finds herself standing in the sprawling 2-acre Victorian kitchen garden, completely enclosed by these warm, 8-foot-tall gray Devon stone walls. It's a space that demands hands-on work, an understanding of delicate microclimates, and above all else, patience. Those walls literally keep the chaotic outside world firmly at bay. Part 1. The South Wall Rose. So as Harriet walks the misty, overgrown central path of this enclosed world, kind of tracing the faint lines of what used to be a formal Victorian layout, she approaches the south wall and finds something just astonishing. It's a massive climbing rose, left entirely to its own devices for who knows how long. Well, the sheer scale of it points to a staggering number, 130. Based on its immense size and that dark, almost black bark at its base, Harriet realizes this incredible plant has been growing for over 130 years. It survived at least 50 years of total, complete neglect. And you might be wondering, how? Why? Well, because it was rooted in the absolute perfect microclimate. The deep soil at the foot of that south wall is the warmest, most sheltered spot in the entire garden. Whoever planted this rose over a century ago deeply, intimately understood the land. Part 2. The century-old garden record. Driven by this intense curiosity to find out who planted it, Harriet searches the dim stone potting shed. The air in there is cool, and the lock on the door is long broken. Inside, beneath some stiff, ancient leather gauntlets in a wooden crate, she unearths a massive clue. It's a faded, cloth-bound ledger, slightly damp from the years. She opens it up to find this neat, compressed handwriting dating all the way back to the late 19th century. It belonged to A. Marsh, the estate's former head gardener, and this brilliantly illustrates a practical record spanning 14 years. In 1890, the rose is planted on the south wall. By 1893, Marsh notes it flowered for the first time. In 1897, it's pruned lightly. The entries continue, practical and super precise, until 1906, where the tone suddenly shifts. Marsh writes, "I cannot do the full work this year. It will manage." And then, in September 1907, the very last entry is written, a sudden, sparse end to a meticulously documented life. Within those fragile pages, Harriet uncovers a profound philosophy. Marsh wrote, "It does not require much, it knows what it is doing." This single sentence completely redefines the relationship between gardener and nature. Harriet learns from A. Marsh that good gardening, and honestly, perhaps good stewardship in general, means guiding rather than controlling. It's about trusting the inherent intelligence of the plant rather than forcing your own mechanical will upon it. Part 3. A message from the past. Picture this. It's a cold November evening. Harriet is reading by the ticking range in her warm cottage, the heavy Devon dark pressing right against the windows. She's searching through the ledger for literally anything she might have missed when the lamplight catches something strange. It's a tiny gap where the century-old paste has dried out and failed. Holding her breath so she doesn't tear the fragile binding, she carefully, delicately lifts the heavy end paper. Inside, she slides out a small, folded piece of yellowed pressed paper. It's a hidden note from September 1907, written by A. Marsh, just before they disappeared from the record forever. And on this fragile paper is a message left specifically for whoever would eventually take over the garden. Marsh writes, "I planted it for the long time, not the short one." Wow, the gardener is explaining that the rose wasn't planted for personal enjoyment. Marsh knew they might not even be around to see it reach its full glory. It was planted for the wall, for the garden, and for the distant future. Marsh trusted that one day, someone who truly pays attention would find the garden, read the record, and know exactly what to do.
Part 4. Tending for the long time. Now, what's really interesting about this is how this profound message changes Harriet's entire approach to restoring the space. She realizes the rose isn't waiting to be rescued by her, it just needs to be understood. She completely drops the rigid, fast-paced mindset of her London years. Working out there in the white, quiet Devon mist, she doesn't just hack away at the wildness. First, she meticulously clears the original Victorian stone paths just to understand the garden's structural logic. Second, she maps the dormant roots, old perennial artichokes, comfrey, and thyme, trusting they are still alive beneath the soil. And third, despite knowing exactly how to prune a giant rose, she completely resists the urge to touch it, forcing herself to wait until winter so she can truly understand the plant's architecture first.
This period of waiting is the absolute essence of responsive pruning. It means acting based on a deep, accumulated relationship with a living thing, rather than just imposing mechanical, technical rules. So she waits. She waits until a hard January frost. When the rose is completely bare and she has spent months observing its every cane, she finally takes her saw to the dead wood. Every single cut is deliberate. It's a careful, physical conversation with a living thing she now deeply, deeply respects. Through this careful process of revealing the bones, the garden's true architecture finally emerges, and the outcome is incredibly satisfying. All the exhausted dead wood is completely removed, and beneath decades of unchecked growth, A. Marsh's original, brilliant 1890 fan pattern is revealed, and it is still structurally sound. The warm Devon stone is finally exposed to the light once again, allowing the wall and the rose to support each other. And the ultimate reward? In February, Harriet discovers the very first tiny green leaf bud waking up on the newly pruned wood. After all those decades, the garden is breathing again. It's just an incredible story of connection across an entire century. Harriet and A. Marsh obviously never met, yet they share this profound living legacy bound by patience and trust. So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. Look at the work you do, the things you build, and the attention you pay to the world around you. What are you planting for the long time? Think about it. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.